Hi everybody, it's Amy Rich with amyrich.net. I have been so excited to do this card for you because I love Paper Pumpkin and I love Christmas. And when you put them together, it doesn't get much better. So I am trying something new today, a little bit different fun fold for you. And I'm excited, like I said, to share that. And I'm hoping that you are excited to see what's coming. So here are the products from the Paper Pumpkin kit in October 2020 that we will be using to create our card. And of course it's the stamp set, and I've already mounted and have prepared the wreath, the sending, the joy, and then the inside sentiment that is in the stamp set. The stamp set is fantastic. I love the Merry Christmas. I will definitely be using that in upcoming projects. Also, I'm going to use this card and this wreath die, or that it's a cutout. So all I had to do is punch it out of the sheet of cardstock, and then a couple of adhesives that are in the kit, the cherry cobbler baker's twine, and then the Just Jade ink. But I also want to share with you what I'm going to use that is not in the kit, because there are several things. So I'm going to use my circles dies, my Stitch So Sweetly dies, my Lovely Labels Pick-a-Punch, my Story Label Punch. Okay, stop laughing. I know, it's a lot of product, but I operate under the assumption that you at least have some of these items that which you can duplicate my project. And then I need a few extra pieces of cardstock. You can see that I already cut out my Just Jade stitched rectangle from the Stitch So Sweetly dies. And then gold foil, and you can see I already cut out the Story Label Punch with Whisper White. And then a whole sheet of cherry cobbler, and then a scrap of the Just Jade. So let's get started. Let's begin with our full sheet of cherry cobbler cardstock. What we're going to do is score it. And if you don't have a scoring tool, you can just fold it. I'm going to score it in half at 5.5 inches. And then I'm going to turn it and score it in half the other direction at 4.25. Then using my snips, I am going to cut out this bottom right-hand section of the paper. And I'm going to do that by cutting off the entire scored line. This will give us a little bit extra folding space when we fold our card together. So cut off the entire scored line. You know what I mean? It's just a teeny little score, but if we cut that whole thing off, it'll just give our card room to fold. So I'm going to do that so that this bottom corner comes right out. Now I'm going to bring in my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. And we need all of our plates. So, well, almost all. Plate number 1, number 2, and both number 3s. We're going to layer 1, 2, and 3. So I'm actually going to fold this one over. And then I'm going to put my second largest circle die onto this other section. And then I'm going to fold so that it'll fit through the machine. I'm going to fold this over the top and add my other number 3 plate on top. Then I'm going to crank that through. And then when I take this out, you can see a couple of things. First of all, you can see that there is a mark left there on the one that I folded over, and that's okay. It's okay. Don't worry. And then it cut that circle out of that space just like I wanted it to. So this is scrap. All right. Now, while I have everything out, I'm going to take my largest of the scallop dies in that circles set, and I'm going to cut that out using my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine as well. All right, then by the magic of television, that is done. And then we're going to take that same circle die that we used to cut out the cherry cobbler. We're going to layer that right onto our scallop. And then we're going to run that through and cut a hole in our scallop circle so that we've just got this little edge. Next, we are going to bring that trimmer back in, and we're going to take this card from the kit. It's so pretty with that gold accent. I love that. We're going to put this in at 4 inches and trim that off. And then we're going to turn it and cut it at 5 1/4. You might note that these cards in this kit are bigger than our standard 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 size in the US. So when I cut this down to 5 1/4, there's actually a nice size piece here left, which we're going to use actually in our project. Then let's take the piece that we've already cut off, I should say, and turn it so that the gold piece is going to get cut off here. Put this edge at 4 inches again, trim that off, turn it at 5 1/4, and I think now we're ready to assemble our card. Let's bring in our cherry cobbler card base to begin with. This is going to be an opening where we have to flip some layers to get everything seen on the inside. So we're going to flip this bottom part up, and then we're going to flip this part closed. And this is where it came in really handy that we trimmed that score line off, because now when we fold this, it's not going to buckle against that edge. All right, so let's close it all the way. So again, we've taken our bottom up and our side closed, and here's the front of our card. So let's decorate that first. We're going to start with our scallop circle in Just Jade, and we're going to take our fine tip glue pen, and we are going to put glue all the way around our scallop circle. You can hear our furnace kick in. It is cold in Minnesota. It is. All right, so then we're going to take that and adhere that to, let me open this up now again. We're going to adhere that to the outside of the circle that we had cut in there. All right. Now we can close that back up again. Here we're going to take our gold foil paper that is cut 1 by 3 3/4, and we're going to use our lovely Labels Pick-a-Punch. We're going to use that left-hand side, and I don't know if you can see that. Hopefully it's not too shiny in the lights of my workspace. And we're just going to slide that in until it stops and punch that so that you've got that pretty edge to it. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. Beautiful. Then we're going to adhere that to the front of our card. Oh, probably about halfway between the bottom of the card and the scallop circle, maybe a little bit closer to the circle so that it looks like that. Now let's do some stamping. We'll start with our story label punch, and we're going to grab the word sending and our Just Jade ink. We're going to ink that up, and we're going to stamp that as close to the top of our label as we can. And then actually one thing I didn't tell you that we would use not in the kit is a cherry cobbler ink pad. If you have some sort of red, I think even real red might work with this, but cherry cobbler matches your card base. So we'll stamp the joy in cherry cobbler. So now it says sending joy. Then we'll take our wreath stamp, and we're going to take our wreath, and this cutout wreath, the die cut, is meant to be layered with the stamp. So we'll ink up that stamp, and I'm not even going to worry about lining anything up. I'm just going to stamp it on top, and then we've got that pretty detail added into the wreath. And finally, we're going to take this piece right here, we're going to flip it to the white side, and then we're going to take our inside sentiment and ink that up with our Just Jade, little Just Jade Stampin' Spot. So now if you've been getting Paper Pumpkin the last few months, you should have the Misty Moonlight in color and now the Just Jade in color. So that works out pretty well that you have two of our in color ink pads already. Okay, now the fun begins. Let's grab a couple dimensionals, maybe 4. We're going to add that to the back of our Sending Joy. Then we're going to adhere that over the top of our gold foil strip. Then let's open our card. The wishing you a very happy Christmas filled with fun and laughter. That's going to go on this right-hand side. And then I thought, wouldn't it be fun to create a photo card out of this? So my intentions for the Stitch So Sweetly die here is that you could cut a picture to fit into that die. Picture of your family that could fit right in there. So when somebody opens the card, it would be your sentiment and then your picture right there. And then let's flip this down, and we're going to now take this piece and adhere that to this bottom section. And there should be a little cherry cobbler border all the way around. And then remember I said this strip can be used? You bet. We're going to take that strip and we're going to adhere it down here towards the bottom of our sentiment. So isn't that sweet so far? All right, so let's close it all the way. Now we're going to take our wreath and we're going to use plenty of dimensionals again. I'm just going to put those all the way around. And then I see that it didn't stamp so great there, so I'm going to put that I'm going to put that at the top. And then we're going to grab our cherry cobbler baker's twine, and I'm going to fold about a 6 or 8 inch length. And then I'm going to use both at the same time and then tie myself a little bow. And then play with it a little until I like it. Then we'll open up this loop where I folded that, and then we'll trim this down, and that's ready to go on now too. So I'll take my little glue dots and stick that right in the middle here, because that is where I am going to put my bow. So the way this opens, we have the sentiment, the picture, and then you can even fold it down if you'd like. But that's how we get all of those beautiful sides of this card. Isn't that great fun? I love making fun folds, and like I said, with Paper Pumpkin and Christmas and a fun fold, it just makes my heart happy. Thanks so much for joining me today. I hope that you have fun with your Paper Pumpkin kit. I love the projects in the kit, but I also love to create something a little bit new and different with it as well. So thanks for joining me. Have a great day, everybody.